It is now.
So, I'm gonna like hit you with some of the lyrics of this. Like,
Oh, you mean it was the meme for the song Material Girl?
No, the Madonna one.
Oh. What one then? That's the only one I know.
There's another one, right? And I want you to start it off just by saying Material Girl, and then whenever I kind of nudge you, I want you to say Material Girl. It's like a duet.
Okay.
Right? And well, I should say that there's a word in this that I probably shouldn't say. So instead, I will just say B for blank.
B?
Yeah. You're not gonna get cancelled.
I don't know. I'm trying to think what word starts with B that would get you cancelled.
No, it doesn't start with B.
Oh, okay. You're just going to say B.
I'm just going to say
okay,
B.
I thought
B for blank.
I thought it was a word that started with B.
No. Right.
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, just say Material Girl, and then I'll go.
Okay. Material Girl.
I want Chanel 9 boots, all these bees steady jacking because they know I'm the truth.
Material Girl.
And I get it from my mammy Balmain bust downs. These hoes can't stand me.
Material Girl.
Currently working on my Grammy, meanwhile pussy popping with your man in Miami.
Material Girl.
Chanel's and pearls, that's the trick that it takes to keep the girls.
Okay, so I'm assuming this is either Nicki Minaj or fucking what's her face?
It's no Nicki Minaj.
Oh, what's her name? What's the other? Cardi B.
It's I think it's that type of vein of music.
Okay, who is it?
Saucy
Who the
Santana.
fuck is that?
Saucy Santana.
Never heard of them in my life.
But like
that same kind of vibe as.
It's the latest. It's like the latest kind of TikTok. Oh no, the latest. I'm probably a wee bit old, but it's just basically about like just being really ostentatious,
Okay.
like going to get your nails done and all that kind of stuff.
Fair enough.
But
I've not seen it at all. I mean, if it's a TikTok's kind of thing, I've not been using TikTok recently, so I've not seen it. And even if I did, I don't think it would be on my recommended, that kind of stuff. So I've not seen this at all.
I just love it's just the attitude I love about it. Just the pure fucking. I don't know how to describe it. When you see the memes, you'll see it. It'll probably trickle down. You know,
Probably.
meme economics.
I'll probably see it at some point on Twitter or on YouTube or something.
Can I just start by saying, welcome listeners and viewers. If you want to buy an NFT,
Don't.
you are a silly sausage,
Right.
and you should not. I've been reading just how, like, I thought NFTs would go away. I thought they would go away. I thought people would be like, "Wow, this is like a straight up con. This is just a straight up con," and I thought it would just disappear. But like, I think people have they want it to work. They want the idea that I can hold on to whatever this digital thing is, and it will increase in value.
Aye. The best analogy I heard for NFTs was somebody said an NFT is basically you being married to somebody, but everybody else gets to fuck them. You've got the marriage license, but everybody else can fuck them as much as they want, and you don't get any say in it. That's like what it is. And it's like, why would you want that?
What really killed it for me is like,
it's like just horrible.
I'd seen like kind of really established artists, like people that like to sell their work and stuff like that, getting into the NFT business, right? And they swear by it, obviously, because they're established artists, and people like OpenSea want these established artists to get behind the NFT, so more people get behind the NFT. It's just a big fucking rolling ball.
Yep.
And they're like, well, it's always worked for me, and it's like, well, that's fine. Like you've worked 30 years to get your name out there. What about people that don't have that? Like, what about real artists who are, you know, producing work, and people are like, that's cool, and I could own it, and I could physically have it in my living room, and nobody else could have this particular piece, but I would rather draw in a monkey somewhere in the Ethereum.
It's
crazy.
I know. The whole NFT thing's a fucking joke. It's funny how there's been multiple game companies that are trying to be like, oh, we're going to get NFTs and that. And there's been two different responses I've seen where, I think it was Ubisoft, were like, want to do it, and then they got all this like backlash for it where everybody was like, I don't fucking do this, it's shit and all this. And they were like, and then they just doubled down and were like, we're still going to do it. People just don't get it. That's their problem. That's what their response to the hate was that they just don't get it. Right? It was
They
like,
just
what?
don't get it.
And then on the opposite end of that was Team 17, the company that make
The worms. Yeah.
They were like, they announced that they were going to get into it, and people backlashed it, and then they were like, okay, we're not going to do it. Like they were like, okay, we get it. We only we see how it's shite and all that. And I was like, okay, two different.
Do you know what it is?
Perspectives.
It's the way I think the way the future is, because Twitter's even trying NFTs now.
The
for, like,
profiles.
profile pictures.
I love that because everybody was like, oh, cool. A way for me to tell who I should block immediately. As soon as I see their picture, I'm like, I'll block them.
Aye. But I think it's the way the future where, like, obviously people like the metaverse and stuff like that. People are moving towards like virtual ways of communicating. Think of like VR chat and all that kind of stuff. And I think essentially the NFTs are the start of people trying to create a market for digital items that you can have, flaunt, etc. in your virtual space.
Aye.
Does that make sense? But I was thinking about this, right? Like, say this is a thing. Say we go 15 years in the future and NFTs are huge, right? Everybody's after NFTs because everybody's on social medias and, you know, they're never really in the real life. So, like, what if I was to just copy something I liked and put it up? Where, like, what I'm trying to get at, or the point I'm trying to make, is that in the real world, there is, like, you have an artistic license. You know, you can take inspiration from something and adapt it, not copy it. You know, like, you can make it your own, and it's far removed from the original that you can make it your own. But I think that with the way that things are going, especially a digital thing, you know, things will look similar, and I feel like people will be like, well, I own this product and you've infringed on the product that I own. I just feel like it's just this whole mess of people claiming things that aren't theirs. I
mean, the thing is, with NFTs, they can't even do that because their whole argument is like, oh, you know, it's outside of the system and all the blockchain, and no, you can't really steal it, and all this. They're basically like, they're so adamant about wanting to have stuff that isn't part of the of the normal, like, system that works or that's in place. But then as soon as shit goes wrong with it, immediately they want people to help them. They're like want, like, the police to, like, find people who've stolen their shit and all that. It's like, you're the one that was so talking about how this was so great because it wasn't part of that, and how it was so much better, and now that it's not going the way you want, all of a sudden you're like, oh, help me please.
Aye.
Like, what? Fuck off. That's not how you can't have it both ways.
NFTs just don't provide, for me, maybe I'm wrong, they don't provide any value or like, they don't, like, if the whole idea of selling something or having something to own is the fact that it's, like, special to you, or that it would increase in value, or, you know, it has a specific value to, like, the person or the people around it. People have deemed that has value. NFT, nobody has deemed it valuable yet. Nobody's been like, this is a good thing to get into, because nobody really knows.
Exactly.
I just don't like the idea.
It's shit. If you're into NFTs, you're a fucking cunt.
And, like, the servers and stuff like that, ecologically.
The ecological shit for it is really, really bad. It's really bad.
Just print it out like the rest is. Do a screen grab. Keep it in your computer.
Save, right click.
Save, right click.
Right click, save.
But that's the thing, like, I wouldn't go into, like, I wouldn't go into a photocopy store with one of my drawings and leave it on the desk, right, and turn my back and go, you'll never have a copy of that. Because that's what it feels like. Somebody's just went, oh, is that right? And I've just went, oh, I've got a copy of that now. And then there's copies and copies and there's copies and copies.
No.
I don't know. It's just silly. It's just silly to me.
Every time I see anything NFT related, it's always like getting dunked on, and
yeah,
it's just the worst shit.
But the boomers are starting to find out about it now, so this is where it'll NFT craze will really peak, I think, when most people know what it is.
I mean, the boomers are probably the most likely people that get scammed out here because they don't understand how it works, and they just want to get what's going on with it. Like, they'll get fucked off.
People can, or not conflate, but people will compare NFTs to, like, cryptocurrency, as if they're, like, a similar thing. But I don't know, like, I don't even think cryptocurrency people are rich.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Like, I get that they've got money, and I get that they've, like, obviously sold their Bitcoin shares and stuff like that, but I don't know, I guess I don't see that, I could educate me please if I'm wrong, but I don't see that as a steady or a foundational form of money. Does that make sense? Like, what if, because to me it's just all very new, like, there could say, just say for argument's sake that there's legislation that's like, well, you can't operate technology if it takes up so much energy, so much space, like, just say there's legislations to help the environment and all that kind of stuff, and NFTs suddenly are just like overnight.
I mean,
you know?
it's the same way a lot of cryptocurrencies is. That's the issue as well. People make these fucking farms, like PCs, with all these GPUs and all that to like sit and just farm like coins and shit like that. And it's like that's why people can't find graphics cards to buy now, because anytime they come out, all these fuckers that are into cryptocurrencies and NFTs just buy them all so that they can fucking build up their wee farms to get as many as they like make shit and all that. And it's just like, fuck you.
There's a shortage of circuits and stuff like that.
It's so bad,
you know, because like Xbox, can't get a new Xbox, whatever it is. PS5s, I think they were affected as well.
PS5s are one of the worst ones. I'd literally seen a picture the other day, some cunt with like, it looked like 100 PS4s like in the back of a car, that they were like clearly scalpers, and they were like buying more for a shop, and somebody was like filming them for their window, like watching them like take more PS4s or PS5s and putting them in their truck, and it's like, and they're just like, this is why you can't get any, because cunts like these are like just buying all of them and then selling them for like triple the price.
That's another thing with NFTs. How does like the people that sell or the people that deal with NFTs deal with like scalpers and stuff like that? Like, just say for talking argument, like, everybody makes fun of like the whole screenshotting thing, but say I screenshotted your NFT and then sold it as an NFT, and like in such a way
you can do that, because it's not the same. It's apparently not the same fucking token. But if you save it, it's not the same token that they own, so you can do that, and then they'll just be like, well, it's not the same token I've got, so bit, and it's like, that's why it's so stupid. You don't own anything. You don't.
You physically.
It's nothing.
You own an idea in principle.
Aye.
It's like somebody's gave you a bit of paper that says you own a star.
It's like if you went to the Mona Lisa,
You know,
and went, I want to buy that. Like, you can't buy it.
you can buy a copy.
You can buy a token of it, and they're like, right, what's that? And they're like, here's a bit of paper that says here's a bit of paper. This is your token that says you own. That says you own it. And then they're like, all right, so it's mine. No, you own that token, but that's it.
You don't actually
own the Mona Lisa.
No,
and it's like, okay,
a wee bit.
so it's just the dumbest shit. It's just
as I say, it's like the people that sell stars. You know, like, buy a star, and we'll name it in your loved one's name. And like, say space travel gets invented, and that person's like, I own that star up there, and then they go up there, and then say there's people there, and they're like, well, I own this star.
Who the fuck's going to live in a star?
Who are you? I don't know the star, but the star system. But say the guy's like, well, I own your star. No, you don't.
See, a better version of that is that you can buy a like square foot of land in Scotland that entitles you to be a lord or a lady.
But do you know what they don't tell you with
that?
that?
You can actually do that, and you can legally write lord on like contracts, and like when you're signing shit, you could be like Lord John. Right?
Do you know what they don't tell the Americans though? Because it's usually Americans that buy it. It appeals to the heritage side of people. Is that you might own that 1 metre squared by 1 metre squared bit of land, but so does 10 other people. Why, think about it. If 1 million Americans buy a metre square of Scotland, it's a lot of space to take up.
Like, what are they gonna do? Go check on it?
Exactly. They're not going to come visit and go like, I'm thinking of putting a tree on my land today. They're like, well, you and everybody else's. Silly goose.
Pretty funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new It's Always Sunny? Season 15?
I don't think I even seen it in the last season.
Emotional.
To be honest.
Emotional.
Emotional.
You remember in I think it was season 13 where Mac had his interpretive dance to show that his dad that he was gay.
Aye.
It was very emotional. It was completely what you'd expect from It's Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
There's a moment when they're in Ireland, and I'm not going to give any spoilers. If you've watched it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. With Charlie, has a similar kind of emotional journey.
All right.
I was in fucking floods of tears.
Wow.
Floods of tears. I could not hold them back. It was just like the whole episode is classic. It's Always Sunny.
Mm.
You know, it hits all the beats, and you're like, right, this is the gang I love. And then just all of a sudden, it's like, oh, see that gang that you've watched for season 50? Well, here's the emotional payoff.
Mm.
Here's how you know that you're emotionally invested in these characters, even though they're pieces of shit.
Even though they're the worst kind of people.
Even though they're like people that you would cross the street to avoid, you are emotionally invested. But I would recommend it.
The only I've seen one bit for the new season, and it's the episode where Dennis is dating a millennial. And he pure like does this whole revelation on how to like deal with it and all that, and I'd seen the clip of that and I was laughing at that. It was pretty good.
Dennis in the latest season is a little more. He both is and isn't as dangerous as he used to be. If that makes it, like, I feel like he's softened, but I feel like there's moments where it's like, you know, the knife's back. he's ready to dart. But yeah, I think great fun.
I need to watch it. I need to get it. I've not got like Netflix out in the new. I've not had it for a while because there wasn't anything on it. Because I used his to watch that Arcane when it was out a few months ago or whenever it was, and that was really good. I enjoyed that. So
I've still watched it.
It's really good.
Do you know what I watched?
So good.
Dune.
Oh, I've heard good things about that.
You know, me and Alan watched it and we were like, the fuck's going on? Just what is going on here? Like, there's a whole world universe to take in.
It's like it's quite an old book series, isn't it? It's like been about for a while.
Yep, by Frank Herbert. I started reading it yesterday, and I'm only like 100 odd pages in. So much.
But a lot of people were comparing it to like comparing it to Star Wars in a way, where it's just like there's a whole world to build and there's just a lot to it and all that, and I was just like, okay. Especially
the new movie is very. There is a lot of parallels to Star Wars, like the camera tricks that they've used and the way that they've filmed certain things, because there's similar ideas in the way that there's this horrific empire that rules in Iron Fist, and it is a Star War. Dune. It is a Star War. Like it's a war in amongst the stars.
I tell you, somehow that's the first time the chair's done that since you've used it when we've been here. It just randomly would do that. That's why I stopped using it, because it'll just randomly go down like that.
Excuse me.
And it might continue to do it.
I know.
It's a piece of shit.
But yeah, Dune, phenomenal. Good story. Reading it so far.
I've heard good things about it.
There's a lot like it's weird. I don't think this is a spoiler for the movie. But like, there's this organisation called the Bene Gesserit. I'm gonna get murdered if I've said that wrong, you know. But they're like a order of prophesizing witches.
Okay.
And it's a really interesting kind of like the way that they describe their visions is that they take this drug, and if they take the drug, it allows them to access the memories within their own cells, and their own genetics. So in a bit like Assassin's Creed.
I've never seen Assassin's. I've not played it. I know about the way it works. I know the thing. I know the thing you're referring to. I know the idea of that.
So it's kind of they use that as a way to kind of guide the future.
Okay.
But it's weird because I've not read the whole book, but they're religious. It's a religious cult.
Oh.
It seems to be, and like because they've operated for so long within the history of Dune, it kind of feels like they've set everything up. Like there's like a lot of prophecies that they're the cause of.
Oh, okay.
No, because like they've got proof. They're like, oh, we can see something happening. It's because they've looked into the past and went, well, this is the best way to get people to live going forward if they believe that a prophecy is going to happen. So basically, like in this Dune universe, you're completely manipulated by this huge mega corporation that runs everything. like space travel and all that kind of stuff. So you're literally dependent on them. This religious order, the Bene Gesserit, that from what I can tell, breed humans for like the best genetics.
Oh, Jesus.
As I say, there's a lot of ideas. They're weighing me down.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah, heavy stuff.
I need to watch it. Is it on? Is it on like Netflix or something like that, or is it not?
It's on Sky Store now, so it should be on Netflix maybe a couple of months.
Because it was in the cinema and that.
But I mean, there is the 1985 version with that guy from that thing. What's his name? There was an original movie made in the 80s. Dune.
Was
it? Frank, what's up? Twin Peaks. Who's the guy for Twin Peaks?
I have no fucking idea.
The guy for Twin Peaks.
I've never seen Twin Peaks, so I have no clue.
Frankie loves that, so he'll know who the guy is. But I
don't know.
But yeah, the original. You know how you always get the stories and like sci-fi media and all that kind of stuff about sandworms, giant worms that live in the sand, came from that story. Oh. I googled that the other day. Origin of the sandworm, apparently. Facts.
No, I'll need to get a watch because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Music's great. Bagpipes. Bagpipes. There's like I would call it like the family's army's call to war. Like a war chant kind of thing, but rather than a war chant, it's bagpipes.
Alright. That's cool.
It was a really cool detail. Obviously, like bagpipes are like for like in our history is used for striking fear into your enemy and distracting them and like stirring on the troops and stuff like that. So like all these kind of like ancient or old kind of stuff that's brought into this sci-fi is pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
I've not been. The only thing I've been watching is the new Attack on Titan season. Really,
I've not started that.
You should. But it's getting fucking insane. The last episode, I was like, the whole time, just like mind blown. I was just like, oh my fucking god, what is happening? Shit's getting crazy, man.
I seen a spoiler for it. Maybe not. I don't know if it's. This is the thing. Like, see, because I see stuff on like TikToks and stuff like that, and then I see bits of information, and I don't know chronologically where that information is. So I don't know if that, that could be a spoiler for this week's episode, and I wouldn't,
Well, for anybody who's maybe not seen the latest episode, spoiler maybe.
Spoiler
Go
maybe.
ahead, say what it is. Skip ahead a bit maybe.
Eren Yenger's dad. Apparently Eren Yenger's the cunt. Eren Yeager had a brother, and the brother was like, "Wow, Dad is an absolute cunt these days, isn't he? An absolute cunt." Eren Yeager's like, "Baby, pop off. I know exactly what it is you're talking about. He's the snake." It's
kind of crazy. The whole, and that's like the shit that happened. He was like, "Oh, he did this horrible thing." That was like, we found out about that whole thing like ages ago, and we were all under the same idea that was him. But then this episode, it was like, oh no, okay, it was actually this, and then that's what made us all go, oh. I mean, that's what's happening. Oh, okay.
It's going to make it very interesting when I do decide to watch it, because I'll just be like, I know you.
That is
snipped.
Aye.
But I mean, there's still a lot to the story that I do find fascinating, like the Titans and the Woz.
Yeah.
Like the different kinds of Titans. I seen a theory video about how some certain Titans could speak, but some Titans have a mouth. But they can't speak.
Yeah.
Like
there's only like I think so far in the series there's only been 3 instances where a specific Titan could talk, and one of them was like barely able, but the other 2 are like the special ones that are like they can just fully just
function.
Speak. They can just communicate
as
they are in a Titan, but the other ones are just like screams and roars and shit.
Would you think of the theory that the Titans are actually normal sized people, and that the people in Attack on Titan are like just small people?
That's just okay. Well, no.
like obviously we're seeing it for the Attack on Titan. What are they called? Do they have a country or civilization? What are they called?
Oh, like the actual like people. Well, there's
in general, just know I know there's class systems and stuff like that, but
it's kind of spoiler to say stuff about that, I'll be honest with you.
Okay, so the Eren Yenger's people.
They're people that are in the walls.
Okay, there are people in the walls, right? But obviously, like, we see them from their scale. You know, we see it from, you know, everything looks ordinary, but they have giant titans.
Well, I mean...
But what if the titans are actually the size of the things that... the real scale, and that these are just tiny little burrower people?
Well, I mean, but you'd have to ignore the fact that all the animals and trees and horses and all that are also equal-ish size to the people in the walls.
I mean, some of the trees...
The only thing in the series that is gigantic is the titans, so they are the outlier.
Some of the trees, aren't they, though? Some of the trees don't look like they fit in.
I mean, there's big trees like that in our world. Redwoods and that, they're fucking huge.
Well, I read a theory that the island of an Attack on Titan is off Madagascar, near Africa, and that wouldn't have redwoods. And that wouldn't have redwoods.
I mean, it's also a fictional world, and also all the name. And it's also anyway Madagascar next to Africa, but there's a lot of characters that have names that are German or Japanese. That makes no sense that as well. Then.
So what's happened is what's happened is a German-Japanese scientist has shrunk down a civilization, and to avoid something possibly nuclear war. That's what it usually is. And they've survived. That's fine within their wee cities. And then the mutants from the nuclear war are coming because it's food.
No.
No?
No.
Not even a wee bit?
No. I don't know where you're getting that theory from, but if you've actually watched the series, this is not what it is at all.
I'm just pulling strings out my head.
This is not.
Just for the wee bits that I've seen here and there.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I mean, it usually always is nuclear fallout. I mean, it really is.
It's no, but it's
always something like that. It's always like
there's not a nuclear about it, really. It's just
well, they don't have... Did they have electricity?
The time period that it's set in is like...
Industrial Revolution?
Early 1900s-ish, I would say.
Right, okay.
That kind of time is kind of where technology-wise they are, I would say.
So it's
for the most part.
Rudimentary by your standards.
Aye.
But I mean, like, they grappling hooks.
They're pretty... I mean, it's anime. It's fucking anime, you know what I mean?
I suppose.
But they're... But you should watch it. It's
I really need
great.
to start. I really need to start
It's
it.
fucking great.
I need to start One Piece.
And it is very emotional as well. Both of them. One Piece as well. One Piece has made me cry on many occasions.
Mm-hmm. I think that if a program can make you cry, then it's a very good program.
Yep.
Because it's not you're not like whenever you cry at a program, you're never like, I can't believe they fucking did this to me. You know, you're always like, wow, I can't believe this emotional journey I'm going through.
That's my...
You know, you never hate them for making you cry. Like Scrubs. Scrubs have made me cry quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And just as I was talking about earlier on, It's Always Sunny, that made me cry. Like the moment with Charlie. You need to watch it.
I'll need to watch it. An episode time. Have you been playing any games at all?
I've not really. The time that I have been just working, and then reading Dune, trying to get that, because it's a big book. It's 3 books in the one, so it's a big trilogy. So I'm trying to get that kind of finished, because I got it for like a Christmas present. Like last year, and I've never,
Oh, you've just been sitting on it for
just
ages.
and then I thought, like, well, if I watch the movie, because that's the thing with, like, when maybe some people are the same, but see, when you're watching something new, do you have this conscious kind of decision that you need to learn a lot? Like, like just with Dune as an example, you need to learn the political structure. You need to learn what people's places are to get a better understanding of the story. So the same way Attack on Titan, like, you would need to... obviously that releases information very gradually. That doesn't just give you the whole stick.
There's just constant mystery throughout the series.
Yeah.
You're just like, what's going on? What is this? What's happening with that? It's, all the time.
So, like, when it comes to, like, watching something new, I'm painfully aware that I'll need to learn a lot of new names, learn a lot of new places, bear in mind a lot of details that could be prevalent to the story, all that kind of stuff. So it can just be exhausting. You know, that's how sometimes I just kind of like the book, I just sat in it because I knew that I'd need to learn all this shit, and I thought, well, if I watch the movie first,
I could give you like a taste of it.
I can at least, when I read the words, understand how they're meant to be heard. You know, and understand, or that's that character, or that's that character, you know.
There's also an interesting thing to me about like books where like there's people who will read books and they'll read they'll like the way they imagine a character to look, or how they speak, or like even how to pronounce some characters' names maybe, and then that book gets turned into like a series or a TV or a film or something like that, and it's just like so different from what they had in their minds, and it's like, that's just crazy to have.
It is. Well, I recounted this story to Alan earlier on in the week because we were talking about reading, and I remember in English we were getting a story to read over, and I went home and I read the story and I stopped at like the second paragraph in because there was a word I didn't know, and I didn't read on. I, like just that word, I was like, I don't know what this word is. And nobody in the house knew what the word was, and then I went into school and I went to my English teacher and I was like, I couldn't read it because I don't know what that word is, and she's like, that's a place. You didn't need to know what that word meant. You know, it wasn't even prevalent to the story. It was just like I don't know, probably some obscure place in England, and I was like, I don't know what that word means.
Do you have a dictionary in your house? You could have looked it up.
No, it didn't have places.
What? Aye, no, but if you looked it up, the word in the dictionary and it wasn't there, then you could have surely been like, oh, it must be like a place, a city or something like that.
Listen, this is first year English. How much effort do you want me to put into my homework?
Same.
I seen a word I didn't recognise, I couldn't read, nobody else could read, so I was like, I'm done.
God forbid you just skip on, be like, I'll just move on.
I should have, I know.
I'll just continue reading and just ignore it.
But I do that now. Like, whenever I'm faced with a word, especially when it's like science fiction or fantasy, you know, like people make up their own words for things, and you kind of just need to figure it out. Context clues.
Yeah, true.
So it's a lot of work reading and devouring new media. That's what we're discussing right now. A lot of work.
It's true.
I realised this week I was a really miserable cunt.
You just realised this?
You just realised this? Just, it dawned on me after 30 years. So, like, you know how Halo's just shit?
Is it?
Like, the multiplayer's shit, there's no maps, the variants are fucked, you try and do a big team battle and it kicks you out. It's just a mess.
I'll be honest, I've not played it in like a month, so I have no idea.
Believe me when I say that it's a fucking mess. And the fact that the developers have focused on like cat ears and skins and that all that kind of stuff, as opposed to actually fixing the stuff the fans want, speaks volumes to me.
I mean, it's probably different departments working on those things. But I don't think the cosmetics being added is slowing down the potential of them fixing stuff. But
well, some of the cosmetic stuff doesn't even line up from what I've seen. Like, it's like if it's meant to be centered in the helmet, it's like slightly over this way, or you know. Well, all I'm saying is that I think the game's a bit, not the story or the multiplayer, certainly rushed. Needs work. Right, nothing wrong with that. But we spoke about before how if you release a shitty game when it's not ready yet, it'll always be a shitty game.
Yeah.
So I'm on Reddit and I'm seeing all these people, these fucking 343 bootlickers, and they're like, oh, the devs are trying really hard, and you know, I know it's been 5 months, but they're doing their best, and it's like, you're acting like you're not their fucking secretary, like you're being paid by the sentence to defend them. And listen, if you're a developer for 343, I have enjoyed your content thoroughly. I do really like Halo, but it doesn't excuse the fact that it's shit. It's a shit product. It doesn't work. It's not working. People are moaning about it, right? In any case, the reason I bring it up is because I'm seeing all these bootlickers, right? And they're all like, fucking, 343, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, right? I'm sitting like with a miserable as fuck face screwed up like the Grinch. I'm like, why the fuck are these stupid arseholes fucking paying these arseholes to just fucking bleed their money, drive fucking arse, all that kind of stuff, right? And I just had a moment of clarity where I was like, John, they just like Halo.
They just like Halo.
They're just enjoying it, you know? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm a miserable fucking bastard, you know? Like, these people are like, you know, they've paid about £100 for cosmetics, because obviously the game's free. And, you know, they're like, oh, I wish I could have this, and I wish I could have that. And I'm like, you fucking giving them ideas for, fucking, I'm going to charge you for that, fucking, you know? And it reminded me of, like, when you had said, like, you had purchased stuff inside Pokemon Go. And at the time I couldn't get it, I couldn't understand it. I was like, why would you put money into a free game? But you put it quite eloquently that, well, I really enjoyed the game. I've put a lot of hours into the game. And I like the product that I've been given, so I don't mind paying towards that.
Yeah, it was like £5-10. I was like, oh, I've been playing the game a lot. I'll put a bit of money to it because I've gotten my enjoyment out of it.
And you know,
and all that, so it's worth it to me.
The thing is, that's your choice. But there shouldn't be a world where I turn around and go like that. You shouldn't spend your fucking money on that because I don't like it. You know, but that's exactly the what I was going through when I was reading all this stuff. Like, people would be like, "Oh, I'm really enjoying it," and I'm like, "Why are you enjoying it? I'm no. Like, everybody should be having a shite time," you know.
Aye, it is that thing. There is a meme about that, where people are playing like a game that's been like kind of getting shit on a lot before it even came out, and then it will come out and people are playing it and having a good time, and so there's a guy that's pure like that, you know, this game's got this problem and this problem and this problem and this problem, and they're just ignoring them, and then there's a guy, stop having fun. It's like, fucking alright, mate.
I mean, it is like, for me, it came from, I don't want people wasting their money, and I would like people to have a certain standard when it comes to games, because I think the fact that a lot of gamers now will accept kind of any game, it's kind of let microtransactions and stuff like that get out of hand. You know, like,
that's true.
Back in my day, you know, games, the perfect analogy of it is that you got a meal, you got a cheeseburger, you got your chips, and you got a drink. Nowadays, you get the burger with no toppings. You have to pay extra for the toppings. The fries will be out next month, and if you want a shake, well, it'll be broken until you get it.
Pretty much.
You know, it's just, I don't like it. I wish people had more of a standard when it came to like this kind of stuff. Like the NFTs, like, people are really vocal. I don't want you, as a gaming company that I love, to be involved in NFTs, something that I perceive to be really shitty. It's the same for for me personally, microtransactions and cosmetics and stuff like that. You know, if you want to spend your money on that, that's fine. But I'm telling you, I think it's a waste of money.
That's fair.
You know, I just think it's a waste, and if you want to spend your money that way, that's fine. It's just, especially like in cosmetics, for some games I can get. Cosmetics for Halo I don't, because you never see your character.
I have the same thought. Like, I'll like, for games like Halo where it's first person, like, I'll customise my character with some stuff, and I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't really care, because I've never seen my character.
Aye.
I never see what my character looks like, so why the fuck should I care? Like, to have all these cool things and that, it's like, I don't see it. If I don't see it, why am I paying? Why am I paying for something I never see?
It just kind of feels like it's almost, it's turning into like a fashion show. In a way, where, like, you know, you're playing the game, and then all of a sudden, you know, somebody comes in and they're bright pink and they've got like fucking glowy purple spikes and cat ears and all that shit, and you're kind of like, where the fuck did you get all that? You know, where'd you get that? Why have I not got that? You know, I don't like it. But NFTs and, I think, cosmetics and games are similar. You're paying for something, you know, that only you can really get a use of, and like through mods maybe you could get it, depending on the game. But I don't know. I see them as a similar thing, NFTs and cosmetics for games, because it's all, to me, under the same kind of guise, where it's digital products.
Aye, it's like, it's a weird thing. Anytime you buy anything digital, you don't really own it in the first place.
No.
You just own it. You just temporarily own it, really. Cause I mean, that's the thing. Like, if Halo 2 had cosmetics and shit, and people spent money on all that. Now there's no servers for the game,
Nah.
so like,
Right, yeah. So where does that go?
where's that go? This is like, it seems like a waste of money. It's like, oh, I've spent all this money on this stuff that's just not even.
Do you know what that puts me in mind
It's like,
It puts me in mind of Guitar Hero 3. And the amount I spent on songs, all that kind of stuff. And now if I boot up that game, I can't play those songs.
because they don't have the
Because they don't have the licenses or stuff like that. So, is that a call for the future where it's going to be, you're basically paying for the access to the thing right now, but it's not permanent. It's not permanent.
It'd be like if you bought a CD, right, for a band, and the record label that produced the CD didn't sign them anymore. Like, they left that record label.
Yeah.
So then they came to your house and were like, "We're not with this record label anymore. They produced that CD you own, so we're taking it.
Could take that.
You can't own it anymore because they don't own the rights to it anymore."
Yep.
Like, it's like that. It's like crazy.
I just don't understand in putting your money into something and not having something tangible to show for it. Does that make sense? Like, what was I guess it was like an intermediate kind of thing. The Amiibos?
Aye.
They were like something digital that you could own, but you had a physical thing. You had something.
It was a nice figure. It was a nice figurine, pretty good quality figurines that you could use for storing data for certain games and using stuff. See, that is a cool thing to do. I think Nintendo really did. That was a genius idea to be like, here's all your famous characters as nice figurines, and you can use them in games for stuff.
Yeah.
To like get wee special rewards or have like wee special events happen, or like for storing data today, all this other kind of stuff. It's like, that's kind of I mean, it's still a bit.
I mean, data can be corrupted. Like data can be lost, all that kind of stuff. But if like if you've paid £60, say for I don't know however much the Amiibo was. They're
like a tenner, 10-15 quid I think normally for one.
I don't know where I'm going for £60 for one Amiibo then.
I think it was people that were like, because it did have that thing of scalpers would buy all them, and then specific Amiibo would be rare because you couldn't find them anywhere because no store would have them. So then cunts would be like, "Oh, this one's so rare, so £100." Like, fuck off.
It's just fucking. That's so fucking. It's so nasty. That's so cheap, nasty. But I like that. That to me seems like if I was to buy an NFT, I would want like a print, like a fine art print on really 300 MSG paper, fine quality inks, printed out. I would want that printed out, and I'd want that framed, so that it doesn't matter if whatever happens to the blockchain or anything like that. I'll still have the thing I bought, and I can still see it, hold it. Something,
Aye.
I just down with like digital shops, just down with that kind of stuff. I don't. One, obviously the servers and stuff like that, ecological kind of damage. But two, like, there's enough class divides as there is in life, and I don't think that there's as many class divides on the internet. Because if you're on the internet, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, fat or thin, black or white, you're still just somebody typing. Or you're just still somebody talking. There's no essence that you're bigger or better than them do.
Unless you're American. In which case you assume that every single person that you're talking to on the internet is also American.
Yeah.
Then I don't know why that's the thing, but it seems to just be a thing.
But do you know what I mean though? Like,
I do know what you mean though, aye. It's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of, the way that I see it, it's just a way to add or just further a class system online. Like if people on Twitter have got the hexagon pick, it's just like, oh, they're bougie. They've went out and got themselves an NFT display picture, and it won't. It didn't start with Twitter, and it didn't start with Nintendo, or it didn't start with these gaming companies, and it won't end with them either. It'll just kind of, I think a lot more companies will just kind of throw money at NFTs, digital products and stuff like that, because people will spend their money on it. which is, I mean, they're entitled to spend their money on whatever they wish, but personally, I just don't see. I don't see any sort of return in something digital. Like, what, like, are you going to be like Smaug or Smog or whatever, when you get home, load up your folder and just look through your NFTs? You're the only one looking through them, going, oh,
like in a pile of USB sticks. This is my treasure.
But that's what it's like. That's what it's like.
I like the convenience of digital media for games and that. I can just download them and play them. Not makes fuck about with discs and all that shit. But when things like NFTs and that, it's just shit.
I mean, games is a bit different, like, because you buy a game for the time you spend on it.
That's true.
And you spend a lot. You will, if you buy a game, you'll probably spend time on it. You know, but like, how much time are you really spending with an NFT?
Nothing.
Like, not exactly nothing. It's just
they're shit. They're shit and we hate them.
Shit and we hate them.
And we hate you if you use them.
Do not
if you're involved.
Watch this video age so poorly where somebody's like, yeah, I bought an NFT and now I'm a millionaire. Good. Keep your money. Don't want it. Built off the backs of, I don't know. Poor artists that have slaved out. Do you know what I've seen? This just goes to show you how NFTs are a fucking con. NFTs typically come from artists. This is agreed. An artist in some form, an illustrator or whatever, will create a product and they'll NFT it. Right? You can now get programs that will do it for you. So they will, you select a base image and that'll make 500 different variations of that image.
Yep.
So like, it's just going to come to a point where there's more or thousands more NFTs than there are people buying them. Like, it's just going to be just all these NFTs floating everywhere, and all these like crypto boys fucking desperate to get rid of them.
That'll be the funny thing when down the line it crashes and all these people own these NFTs that are worth nothing now and they're desperate to get rid of them but nobody wants them and they're just out of pocket and it's like, well, that's what you get for getting into something so shitty and scummy.
Yeah, well, this is the
that's
thing.
what happens.
Yeah, like this is the thing. Like they could stand to make a lot of money, but as I was saying earlier on, it's not stable. The more it could end, and you know, like the whole life that you've built over several years, like mining cryptocurrency or selling NFTs or whatever it is, that could come to a crashing end, and you don't know what to do.
Yep.
I feel sorry for people in that position.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Wow, empathy has left the chat.
I don't have empathy for people that get themselves in situations that they could have easily avoided.
Well, here's a thought experiment, right? What was it I was watching the other day? Some program, and the Tinder swindler.
The Tinder swindler?
You heard of it?
No.
It's this truly astonishing story about how this guy scammed all these women out of so much money, like millions of pounds of money. And the thought experiment is this, right? You're a lady and you have been charmed by this person for months, and you hit the same story to multiple women, right?
No.
But it doesn't really matter what the story is. I proposed to Alan. This particular lady gave him £150,000.
What the fuck?
Right. You know,
what?
£150,000. Obviously, not in one lump sum, but like over time, like a 10 grand here, all that kind of stuff. Right. At what point does it stop becoming his fault and start becoming the lady's fault? Because I was like, did she have to be robbed of 10 grand worth of money for her to go, something's not adding up? Like when it came to 50 grand and she was like, I've not seen any of the money that I've gave out. Maybe this is a good time to like phone my bank and, phone the police and say, look, I think I've been scammed. How do you get to £150,000 out your pocket and then turn around and go, there's a problem here?
That's just, fucking...
Where do you stop? Where do you start? Where do you stop feeling sorry for them and going, well, you kind of did it to yourself? It is one of the things.
Aye. It's kind of crazy that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. People get fucking.
But you would have absolutely zero sympathy. Zero sympathy. Fuck they bitches. They did it to
No,
them damn
because
selves.
that's not them doing it. They didn't intentionally get themselves in that situation. That was a guy. The guy scammed them, manipulated them.
Yeah.
It's not like they got into it knowing what it was.
But
with NFTs, it's like, oh, I'm getting into this thing where I'm fucking buying all this shit, and it's clearly scummy and scammy and fucking shit and bad for the environment. And it's like they don't. People that get into NFTs, they're not getting into ignorant. Like, oh, I don't know what this is.
I disagree. I think there will be people that will have heard the opposite information, where no, NFTs are really good, NFTs are really safe, they're up and coming.
Anybody that's spending so much money on it and so much of their time on it that their whole life's dedicated to it, where their situation is like you said, if it fell apart they would have nothing. Like, people that do that, they surely are no, like, either you go in it knowing exactly what you're doing so they have no sympathy, or you're just a fucking idiot and you should have, before spending that much time and money on it, you should have fucking looked into it a bit more.
Should have got a clue.
So it's like, what the fuck? But like, that's different because that's like somebody else manipulating a person. And
but I mean, this is the thing. Like,
so,
if you're, you know, this is a very strange new world we live in. You know, like, there was news years and years ago about how Bitcoin and how it was going to be big and how it was going to get money, and that did happen. I mean, it's no stable, as I say. Like, it could end tomorrow. You know, something really stupid could end it tomorrow. But like, I think people, there's a lot of people that would disregard an opinion because it is negative, because they only want to see the focus, or only focus on the positives. So someone who's like, oh, I want to get into NFTing, or I want to do the NFTs, I want to buy the NFTs, trade, whatever it is, and you know, they look up the information. It's like, oh well, it's really bad for the environment. It really doesn't provide any kind of value or anything like that, and they go, oh well, they're just really negative. Oh well, I'll just do it. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, at what point do you kind of say, oh well, it's your fault, or what point do you say
that's the point where if they look into all that stuff, see all these people saying, that's bad for all these reasons, and then they still say, I'm just going to do it anyway. That's like, no, that's you're wrong. You now have the information you need to understand how it's bad and how you shouldn't get in it, and you've still decided to get in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's your fault, and you're a fucking arsehole.
Well, so going back to the Tinder swindler then, like, so say one of the ladies, and they've gave away 80 grand, and they come to you and they go like that, you know, I'm feeling really down, can I just talk to you about this? I'm 80 grand in debt, this is the reason why. You know, would you blame them?
I mean,
would you say it's their fault?
A wee bit, but mostly no. I would say you've clearly been had.
Swindled.
You've clearly been had. And I mean, it's also the fact that it's preying on people that are probably lonely, and like,
very true. Well, Tinder,
like using Tinder for it is clearly preying on people who are going to be like, you know, it's a lot easier to manipulate people if they're like lonely and desperate
and want to believe in the best.
And they're like, you know, especially when it comes to like relationships and like, you know, falling for somebody. It's like it's hard for people to see past. It's hard for some people to see like the red flags, see something that they really like have fun for.
When I was watching the programme, that's one of the things I said. I was like, there's a lot of red flags here, and this person's kind of disregarding them because they want to believe that the love's there, or that there's a relationship there. And I, just to bring it back to the NFTs, obviously that's the way that NFT people are. They believe, or they have the faith that this is worth something pursuit. But you said fuck the NFT people. Fuck the NFT people. I mean, you can't tell people how to live, but you can tell people to be cautious. And I think NFTs is certainly something to be cautious over. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I don't know how many messages I get when it's like, oh, you know, make your own NFTs, and I'm like, no, I can't physically be bothered. Like, one, to even get into it, find out about it, I can't even bother getting an account with whatever it is that would represent me. I can't even be bothered putting in my email address when it comes to an NFT. It's just not for me.
Fuck that. You need any country email address. No. You fucking get hounded constantly with emails telling you, oh, buy this NFT, oh, look at this new NFT stuff, and you go, fuck off.
You know,
leave me alone.
there's definitely people out there who've got more money than sense that have bought NFTs.
Aye.
And I don't know, I would love to know what the equivalent of an NFT would have been, say, like pre-proper computer days, like 70s. You know, like, to me it's a bit like snake oil. You know, that whole, you know, it feels like that. It feels like something that...
I mean, I think the closest equivalent to NFTs before, like, the digital age would just be like the old like pyramid schemes shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is basically that. That's like the closest thing to it, where it's just people get tricked into it and it's clearly a scam, and then
They're part of the system.
I know they're in it, but they want to believe that it's a thing because they don't want to think. It's that thing where people get into situations like that and they don't want to accept that it's a scam, because then that would then accept that they got fucked and they got fooled by it,
Yeah.
and then that makes them feel like an idiot, and they don't want to admit that, so they double down on it, and they're like, no, it's no scam, it's real and all this, and they're just in denial about it.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to fuck all their friends and family, like, oh, you should get into it and buy it and all this. It's like, no.
Do you know,
No.
I seen a meme and it was like me seeing that person from high school in a pyramid scheme or something like that, and it was, and I'm not here to blast anyone on how they spend their lives, but there is a couple of people that I know from our school that appear to be in kind of like pyramid schemey things, and when they post about it, and I'm like, this you're posting about a pyramid scheme, and I'm like, do you know, or are you hoping that you can be somewhere in the middle of the pyramid?
Is that thing where
You know?
with people that are in that, you're like, I don't know if you're aware of what this is, and you're just trying to fuck on as many other people and get as much money out of it before it falls apart as you can.
Yeah.
Or if you're genuinely just ignorant of the fact that this is clearly a scam.
Yeah.
And,
Because
you're actually sitting there thinking this is some amazing thing.
well, the thing with pyramid schemes is they target people that, it's really weird. Like, they target people and they kind of make it as if it's a religion. You have to spend your every waking moment on this, and you have to live, breathe it. You have to talk constantly, endlessly to it about, like, to your friends and all that. And as you say, like, I don't know if you fully know where you are.
Aye, it's hard to know. But yeah, that's what that's what they kind of scams do. They prey on people that are
Desperate.
ignorant and desperate.
Yeah.
And, aye, it's a sad world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad world.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's trying to sell you something. That's what they say. Like, if somebody's talking to you, they're trying to sell you something.
Aye.
It's the world we live in, but it's like some people will go like, oh, I met a really nice man and he told me about a lovely product, and I'm like, oh, did they sell you the product? I don't know how that's relevant. You know, it's like they suddenly realise that, you know, do you know, you don't see a coincidence that somebody came along all of a sudden and had the cure, the ailment for everything that hurts you, and you know, it's crazy. What are we having for dinner tonight? Because I am here.
Do you want to know bang the desk that the mic is attached to?
I'm excited. So we might be getting a chippy. I'm
skint.
I'll get a chippy. I will treat you to a chippy.
I mean, if you're offering, I'll not say no to that.
Buy my NFTs and I will... Do you know, somebody should do that. Get a chippy, take a picture of every chip, and then, like, whatever the supper is, and then sell that as an NFT. And the whole point is to get the whole supper.
Fuck's sake. Collect them all.
Collect all the chips. It's been an absolute hoot and a holler bashing NFTs for the past hour. But I think that's a good time to call it quits. That...
Yep.
Don't... You know... I'm kind of on a knife edge where I'm like, don't ever show me anything like that again, and if you see anything like that again, I need to see it. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for viewing.
Thanks.
Material Girl.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Fucking Lees. Just need to get that in.